All right, so for those of you who are doing elliptical wings, this is the next step. So before doing this video, you should have already extruded the rectangular part of your wing, and I'll be showing you how to essentially take one end of your wings and make it this rounded, tapered edge. And obviously, you'll have to do it twice, one for each side of your wing. So the first thing we need is we need a work plane that will be drawing the rounded kind of arced outside edge. So in order to get a work plane, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, whoops, I already clicked work plane. So I'm going to click on this bottom line and notice there's a tab here for work plane. So I'm going to click on that, and then I'm going to click this side edge. So in order to define a plane, you need two lines. And so as you can see, this is going to give us the plane that essentially goes along the bottom of the glider. So now if you look over here in the model list here, we have a new work plane here. Okay, so we're gonna right click on that work plane and we're going to start a new sketch. Because I already did this at the top, it's taking me there, but we're gonna wanna scroll all the way down here to the bottom. Now you can create some guidelines and things like that to help constrain your arc so that it's symmetrical with the top. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to kind of wing it here just so you get kind of the idea quickly. You want to make sure that your corner points line up with the extrusion, and you'll know that they line up because they turn red. So anything that, or sorry, green, anything that's lining up turns green. So notice I have my 2 points on my arc here, but I don't actually have a closed loop yet. So the way we're going to close the loop is if I click on and highlight the arc, I'm going to right click, and there should be a tool here that says close loop. So I'm going to click on that. I'm going to click OK. I'm going to click this line in my extrusion. I'm going to click this line in my loop, and it says my loop has been successfully closed. In order to extrude, your loops need to be closed. So if you're having trouble extruding even like your cambering line, double checking that it's a closed loop is always going to be helpful. All right, so now I can close this sketch, and I've got the bottom part of my shape. Now I need to do the cambered part of my shape. As you recall, or maybe you didn't recall because you didn't build this with me, I made this sketch over here and then extruded 10 inches to the right. So this end is actually just the end of the extrusion. It's not a sketch. So what we can do here is we can right click on this and give ourselves another work plane. Remember, we need to have at least 2 lines to get our work plane. So why isn't it letting me click OK? It's not happy. For some reason, I'm going to escape and do this again. Okay, so I'm going to click this line, work plane. I want this line. It's not letting me pick it. Why? Okay, let's try this one. Work plane. Guess it is definitely not happy. Why? What did I do wrong? So confused. It doesn't know which plane I want, but it's not letting me pick. Finally. Is it letting me pick stuff? It's just not asking me if I want that work plane. Oh, but it actually made one of them. Okay, so I'm going to delete one of these so it's not so confusing. All right, so now I've got this work plane. I am going to open a sketch. So I'm going to click on the work plane and I'm going to do a new sketch. Now notice I'm looking kind of at the sketch from the other side. That's not actually the sketch from this side. So if I change the angle here just a little bit, you'll see that actually it is showing me the sketch. Why is it doing that? Oh, no, it isn't. It's showing me the other one. So what we need to do is we need to project the geometry from this other sketch onto this sketch here. So if I click and then on the line, so I right clicked on the line, then I click project geometry, and then I'm just clicking the next one here, project geometry, then I'm clicking this one here, project geometry. And so what I should have now is this sketch should contain the geometry from the end of the extrusion. So notice that I've got those yellow lines there. So I'll know if this worked when I go into my loft. When I clicked on sections, notice that it now highlights. And then I can click on this bottom section, it also highlights. And then when I click OK, I have my extrusion. So the key here is that those two different sketches, the horizontal one here, and I guess I should go here, this horizontal one and this vertical one need to connect to each other. And the way that you connect them is by having that geometry projected onto both of them. So the first one I had drawn it, and then I was just projecting that drawn version into the vertical one. So if you're trying to loft, so when you go into the loft tool, if you're trying to click on a section and it's not letting you grab it, it means that those two sections aren't connected and you've got to project the geometry of whatever line is the line that's found in both of those planes. So once again, I already had the other side done, but you would have to do this a second time to get the other side of your glider done. The other thing that you could do is you could extrude from the middle out to half of your wingspan, do one edge, and then do what's called a mirror. So the mirror tool is up here. So if you're mirroring, so let me delete all of this stuff that I did here. So now I'm just gonna pretend like I just did half of my wing and I wanna just mirror the other half. I'm gonna click on mirror. First, you pick the feature that you want to mirror. So that's gonna be all of this. You need to click both of them. And then you wanna click on the mirror plane, which is just this little edge here, which actually is not a plane, so it's not going to let me click that. So that little strategy isn't going to work unless you actually add a work face again and project that geometry onto a work face. So we have to add a new work plane. We're going to open a new sketch on our work plane. I open? No. New sketch. There we go. Then I'm going to project my geometry. Why does it keep flipping around? I'm trying to scooch it over so I can see it better. All right, so I'm going to click this line, project geometry, click this line, project geometry, click this line, project geometry. Now I can finish my sketch. And now I should be able to mirror. So if I click mirror, again, pick my two features, click mirror plane. Now I should have a plane here. It's not really liking it. And it doesn't want to move so I can see it. I'm not using a mouse, so that's kind of a pain. Mirror plane. There we go. I just had to get it in the spot where it would let me pick it. And now if I zoom the whole thing, I have a twice as long but similar elliptical wing. So either one of those strategies will work for you. You pick whichever one. Now, one other pointer, when you go to make your cut file, you're going to want to make obviously a bunch of the cambered pieces along this edge where they're all the same. For this section, you can either do slices, which will be a different video, or you can cut a piece that is literally just the top view. Sorry, my fingers are in the wrong spot on my touchpad. So you could cut a top view, which would just basically give you this flat shape. Then you would glue down your cross bracing all along here, and then these end pieces would basically just be shrink wrapped down around the edge, and they'll naturally just kind of taper there. So some different ideas when it comes time to be doing your wing. Anyway, so there you go, elliptical wings for dummies. I hope you successfully design your elliptical wing. Since you picked a hard one, you deserve it.